Angling is one of the biggest participation sports in the whole of the world, and carp fishing, well, that of course is the trendiest. Competition carp fishing is a massive part of the scene all across the globe, and there's one competition that everybody wants to win. It's this one, the World Carp Classic. Now in its 20th year, the World Carp Classic has blazed a trail for professional competition carp angling. It started out in 1998 here at the magnificent Lac de Madine in France. Since then it's moved around the globe. It's been to Bolsena in Italy, Nova Malinska in the Czech Republic, and various other lakes in France such as the Orient and also Amance. It's been won by some of the biggest names in angling, and for its 20th celebratory anniversary it's back here at its spiritual home, Lac de Madine. There have been champions from all over the world: Holland, Poland, Belgium, Czech Republic, USA, Romania, and multiple times from England. And it attracts people from all around the globe because, quite frankly, this is the one they all want to win.
No, it's a great event. You know, it's the biggest event for 20 years already. So now we're very proud to have all these guys here.
Austria, not won it yet.
Not already, but I think now it's time.
This is the year.
Yes.
Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely. What do you think, guys? You're going to win it?
Yeah!
Yeah! You've done this a few times, Lee. What do you like about it?
It's just the unknown, really, Rob. It's just every year changes, doesn't it? I'm sure you know, but it does. Every year changes. Last year, the boys were against the elements. Unfortunately, we wasn't here last year. Last year, the boys against the elements, and this year's, look at it, it's beautiful.
What do you think about the size of the event then?
Oh, massive, really, like, you know, top event that, you know, so for the first time ever in my life to be in such a big event, so everything organised up to detail, can't complain, like, absolutely stunning.
Guys, you've travelled an awful long way to be with us.
Yeah, no, we have done 23,000 kilometers, so it's quite a long way, and we left New Zealand on Monday and arrived in Amsterdam on Wednesday.
What do people at home think about you? Do they think you're mad fishing for carp all this way?
Yeah, definitely, but you know, we grow the sport in New Zealand and Australia, so you know, it's growing every year. More and more people, you know, join the carp world. So yeah, it's awesome.
Well, that's it. The World Carp Classic 20th edition is underway. What an absolutely fantastic atmosphere here behind us as the crowds and throngs walk through. The train is carrying the defending champions. In the front carriage we have Benji, Tim and Lee bringing the trophy back to put it onto the podium in readiness for the draw this year. It's a magnificent spectacle out here at Madine. It always is. Anglers from around the world coming together to celebrate our fantastic sport. 24 different nations are represented at the moment. That is absolutely brilliant. From as far away as Japan, from South Africa, from New Zealand, from Canada, and of course, all across Europe too. Brilliant, brilliant spectacle. As with any fishing competition, one of the most important parts is the draw, because it's this that will decide where the anglers will be living for the duration of the competition. Now, all around the lake there are marked pegs, and it's from here that the anglers will have to do all of their fishing. Now, when they registered in, they picked a number out of a draw bag, and this decided what their draw order was. If they got 1, they picked first. If they got 120, they picked last. Everyone has their own favourite peg or area that they would like to fish.
Well, 52, there's some nice ones. 83 I'd like, 4 I'd like. There's big fish been coming out of 4, you know, big fish you'd have to. You know, there's a few goods in here. There's plenty of O&Os gone, which is what you're looking for.
The match is 112 hours long, and they take enough kit to survive on the bank for the whole duration. Up for grabs is a fantastic title and a rather large cheque. And this is lottery time, so it's eyes down to see who is going to get put where. After the random draw comes the test of knowledge and skill.
We're happy with the bag, so let's see what the next week will be.
So competition day one is now upon us, and the first thing everyone's got to do is they've got to get out to their pegs. Now, Madine is a really, really big lake. In fact, it's 46 kilometres all the way around, so the guys that are on the outside, they can drive. There is, of course, 2 islands, and the guys that are out on the islands, they've got to get there by boat, and you can see there's an enormous logistical operation going on behind me as the guys pack all of the kit that they need for 5 days into their boats and transfer out to their places. They take everything: food, supplies, water, of course all of their fishing kit, and you can see behind me some of these boats are absolutely laden right up to the top. Now, it takes a fair few hours to get everything out there, and the competition will be starting at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So we're just heading out across the waters of Madine now to an area that is known as the dark side. Now, it's the dark side for a couple of reasons. One, because it's always in shade, and two, because you know what, it's pretty difficult to get through. It's like bandit country, and the only way you can get there is on one of these. Now, the logistical operation to get these guys into place with all of their kit goes on for hours and hours and hours, but they're now in place. The competition is about to start, and we're heading over to the peg that the defending champions are in.
3, 2, 1. 20th anniversary event of the World Carp Classic is now officially started.
So with the competition underway, the anglers got the rods in the water and hoped to catch an early carp. We caught up with 2016 champions Jan Dadak, Karel Nickel and Jakob Kumster, who'd drawn a really fancied peg.
We've actually decided to do it slightly differently, as we know as the competition starts, everyone is wanting to put the rods out, catch the first fish and everything. But as we are, on the end of the bay, what we've decided to do is to leave it quiet and, to wait for several hours now until, everyone goes out in the boats. They will be going out, trying to find places and all that. So a lot of disturbance on the water, as the fish will get spooked out from this side as all the boats, go out. They will be pushed to the end, basically. We keep the door open for them to come to our water and feel comfortable there, and as it all settles down, we will go out quietly and start to look for places and fish for them. So let's see.
While some anglers were playing a tactical waiting game, others were straight in there and got out onto the water, aiming to get their baited spots established before it got dark. Well, it's just dropping dark now, and just look at that sunset behind me. What an absolutely beautiful evening it is. And we just start to hear the reports of the first fish that's been caught. Now, it's out on the island, it's only a small one, and the first flickerings of those fish starting to feed on Madine are now coming through. No doubt there will be fish caught through the night, and we'll be back tomorrow to tell you exactly who's got them and how big they are.
Premier poisson de Madine pour nous, équipe française.
This is the first Madine fish for us, Team France. It was caught on a rod on its own next to the weed.
D'eau d'herbier de Potamos qui est très bon pour la pêche. On y a déposé la canne et...
It was a very good cast and it was a lucky one. It's the first one, but let's hope it continues, and I like to say good luck to the rest of our French teammates. Come on, let's go.
It wasn't long after the report of that first fish for the French team that another report came in, this time from a Spanish team in Peg 47, saying that they'd caught an enormous common carp of 21.2 kilograms, that's 46.5 pounds. And so they kept coming through the night and into dawn, and 10 teams worked their way onto the leaderboard. The prize of the night, though, went to the Anglo-German pairing of Thomas Muller and Stephen Freeland in Peg 84. Good night last night. Couple of bites, one fish.
Yeah, we had 2 runs, landed one. Fish were crashing about all night. We've definitely got fish in front of us. Yeah, we're pleased.
It's got a reasonable track record actually, this bay. It produces a few fish, normally big ones, but not a lot. But you only need 3, don't you?
That's the beauty of the event, this 3 big fish rule. So we've sort of like set out a plan, because there's a lot of small fish out there. So what we've done is created a big baited area that the small fish are busy, that they're out of our, and then all around the lake, different areas. That's where we're concentrating on getting the big fish in. What's the plan for the rest of the time? That you're just going to see how it goes? It's mainly going to be nighttime bites, I think, isn't it? Yeah, due to the weather and the depth of water, I think the main activity is going to be nights. What we're going to do is concentrate and first of all just get them free fish. The morning capture here, only a small fish, but one of the first daytime bites we've had in this year's World Carp Classic. And the fish is going through the weighing process now. The sling is put onto the scales, put to 0, checked by both marshals and competitors alike, and then the fish is put back into the weigh sling, hung onto the very, very accurate spring balance that's up there. The dial will turn around and settle on the weight. 7 kilo 100. First fish for Janne Bolin, Martin Vilstrand and Gert Samuelson. First night, fish on the bank, great start for you.
Yep, brilliant. We obviously, as you know, we were sort of being asked from the off, so we found our spots after about 3-4 hours.
Yeah, fun.
Not as many as we were hoping for. It's not, it's quite very local. But yeah, so it's given us a lot of confidence having one.
There's a few fish up here, isn't there?
Yeah, it seems like it. I think the guys in 23 have had one of they in 20. It's very weedy out there, something we wasn't sort of predicting, was we?
Yeah.
You know, there's muddy bits, nothing too spectacular, but as long as there's a few fish about, then I think there should be a few out of this area, right?
Well, hopefully
more of that.
Yeah, a few bigger ones as well.
Quality, well, Taj, on the board this early in the game.
Yeah.
What's your secret?
Don't tell them, Taj.
Don't tell them, Taj.
Don't tell them, very vague.
Listen to these two.
The single sweet corn rod, you can tell them about that one. Single grain.
Popped up sweet corn. Yeah, popped up sweet corn.
5 yards out.
5 yards out.
Yeah, that's it, okay.
Spotted with maggots.
Yeah, that's the only secret given.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Didn't even use a clip, did we, for the maggots? No.
So 24 hours in and the scores look like this. Top of the tree is Thomas Muller and Stephen Freeman with that one fish of 23.1 kilos. They're being chased though. 5 teams with good fish to report and another 4 days of competition left. Well, I'm out on the water now and I'm going to take you for a little run around Madine to show you exactly what the lake is like and what the anglers are up against. Now, for a start, the lake is 1,200 hectares in size, which is a little over 2,500 acres, and it's situated in the Meuse region of France, around about the Metz-Nancy area. It's a reservoir, so it's man-made. It was built in 1960s. But it's not an irrigation or a drinking reservoir, it's actually a sporting reservoir and just for water storage. So unlike some of the other big ones like the Orient and Lac de Madine, the water level doesn't really fluctuate too much. There isn't that much of a draw off. It's really, really interesting when you look at it from the air. There's one big horseshoe area which goes all the way across the 2 dam walls, and at the other end there's loads of little finger bays, trees and forests all the way around, and there's lots and lots of nature. In fact, yesterday I actually saw an osprey come down and take a fish off the surface, so it's a magnificent place to be. Now, the fishing is very different depending on where you are. Being shallow, probably the maximum depth down by the dam is about 20 feet, but it is about 2 to 3 meters across the majority of the area, and in the bays it's a little bit shallower still. There's a lot of weed in it. The base underneath is clay, so the anglers will be donking around looking for slightly harder patches where they can present their baits. There's a big island that runs up the middle of the lake as well. That takes quite a few people. 2 of the long sides are occasionally productive, but it's the far ends generally that they want to get into that woods area, because at the top of the woods area there's a bay that's normally a natural nature reserve, and at this time of year that's where the fish tend to migrate to. The bird hide area, that has a good pedigree too. That produces quite a few fish, and we've seen over the last few years lots of fish come from there, and the bay just by the side of that produces big ones now and again too. And then of course we've got the down wall area. There will be 1 or 2 fish around there that are resident and patrol up and down that area, but you need a bit of wind, a bit of life, and a bit of something going on to get this open water fishing. For me, I think with the way the weather's been recently, it's going to be the bays, the shallower areas, and those quiet channels. That's where the big fish are going to be coming from. I just don't think there's enough ignition in the weather to make the open water fish. The sun is starting to set out here at World Carp Classic number 20. What a brilliant day it's been. We've actually had quite a bit of action through the course of the day, sometimes from catfish, others from small carp, but the big ones are now starting to feed just like they did last night. I'm in peg 15, which, as you can see, it's one of the bays yet again. The wind is blowing across now. We're getting some cloud cover. The temperature is dropping and it feels really, really carpy. There will be fish caught tonight without any shadow of a doubt. And we've just had an 18.6 kilo here for the Sturks family. And my word, what a fish it was. Just look at this common, absolutely cracking. And that rockets them right to the top of the leaderboard in this section. But we're just hearing some cheers. About 5 minutes ago, we got some cheers from the far bank over there. Now that is the area known as the dark side, and we've just heard that a 24 kilo fish has been caught over there. Now that is between 51 and 52 pound. We don't know exactly what the weight is yet, but that will be the biggest fish, and it will be the second 50 that's been caught here in a little over 24 hours. There's another big fish being caught off the island. That's a 20 kilo plus fish, and 1 or 2 small ones all over the place as well. So it's really getting exciting. And just remember, guys, the way this competition works is it's a big 3 event. Only 3 fish count. Catch 10 fish if you want. Your biggest 3 are the ones that go on the leaderboard. So all those guys that fish for 7 and 8 kilo fish, that's not really going to matter. You need to sit tight, you need to show that you can catch big fish, and anything 18.5, 19 kilo plus, that will make a difference to the leaderboard. We think that you're going to need 63 kilos to 67 kilos is my opinion. Talking to some of the other guys, they think the fish have grown since last year, and it might even be a 70 kilo year. So 23, 23, 24 kilo, that would get you up there. So anybody that's getting 18.5 plus, they're going to be in the race, but really you need 20 kilo. Karel Nickel, Jakob Kumster and Jan Dadak. Absolutely fantastic fish that. That's a really, really nice looking mirror carp. Virtually no scales on it at all. And this will rocket the boys right to the very top of the table. Chatting to them a minute ago, and they said actually an early lead isn't necessarily a good lead, but my view is that if you're at the top, everybody's got to try and pass you. So always a nice place to be. Guys, what are you thinking at the moment?
It looks good actually. You know, we didn't know after the draw if the pack's gonna be good or not, but the weather is alright and the fish are in front of us. We will just have to find out how many and how big.
A lot of fish in the bays at the moment. They seem to be more popular with fish in the bays rather than out in the main open water.
It looks like that now, and the weather plays in our favour, so let's see. Let's hope for the best.
Peg 88 now, and this is a fantastic common of 18.1 kilo. That's around about 40 pound for the German pairing of Stefan Oberhauser and Max Brandmeier. First carp of the competition for them that will go onto the scoreboard, and this is a traditional and typical Madine fish. Very, very big in the shoulder, big high back, slung slightly towards the rear end, and a lot of the older fish here at Madine have these very small fins, quite a small tail. Some of them have small pectoral fins, and it's typical of a heavy weeded fish. One of the old originals, beautiful creature, and the guys will be very happy with that.
Yesterday we lost one, and this night,
and that's my
same time,
at my first Madine carp. I'm so happy.
Yes.
Well, it's first thing in the morning now, and we're just having reports of a really big fish that's been caught up at the far end of the lake. Now, we have to get round it by road, and just to give you some sort of perspective about how big this lake is, it's 46 kilometres all the way around it, and to get from one end to the other end by car takes between 15 and 20 minutes. Now, the report has just come in. We're all in HQ, and the report's come in that a really big fish has been caught at the Montsec end, which is about as far away from our HQ as you can possibly get, but we want to get out there as quickly as possible and see this fish. It's being weighed at the moment. They think it's going to be around about 25 kilos. You can hear the phone dinging there. Everything goes mad when a big fish is caught everywhere, and it's really, really, really exciting. So the media convoy is out, the judges will be out there looking at what's going on as well. There's another crew going the other way to find out what's happening at the other end of the lake. But this has come from the bay, which is the same area that big fish came from last night, the area that the Czech guys caught from in peg 40. This is 4 pegs further down that bank. It's peg 44. It's their first big fish, but it will put them well and truly in the race for the biggest fish of the tournament so far. We think it's 25k. We'll get that confirmation very, very soon. And this is it, 25.2 kilos for Jacob Bakker, Hendrik Bos and Albert Barson from Holland. Peg 44, and what an absolutely stunning creature it is. Typical and traditional Madine old big fish. You can see the shape of the head, the angle going up to those shoulders. And just absolutely beautiful. Anybody watching this at home will look at these, and if you're ever wondering what continental carp fishing is about, this is it. A big fish from a beautiful wild lake. Absolutely stunning. What's a brilliant start. You've had a few runs as well.
Yeah, we had 6 runs in total now, but we only catch 1.
What's the problem?
Lots of snakes in the water, and I have 3 with snakes. There's a big weed bed on it, and the fish is behind the old river. And the old river is the deep. Close deep.
Finally, after 4 loss, we catch the 1, and after that one we lost also 2 fish.
Now that fish, if you can catch another 2 decent fish, 2 20-kilo fish, then you could well be in with a chance of winning this. You know, you're going to need 60, 63 kilos, I think, and a 25-kilo fish is a very, very good start.
Yeah. And we know that they are over here because when you listen at night, you hear them jumping, you see them jumping, and they are on the bank. So we are positive for the coming 3 nights. Only we need to figure out how we get the fish out of the weed.
So what's the plan? Are you going to put polyballs or are you going to put bottles on?
Definitely polyballs and maybe bottles, if they're not. But yeah, we need the tactics so the fish come up, maybe a lead drop, and then well, we see later.
We're back at the World Carp Classic 2018, and it's the 2016 champions Carol Nickel, Jan Dadak and Jacob Kumster that have taken an early lead with their second big fish of the tournament. Just want to get technical now, and I'd like to see the rig you're using. Can you tell us something about it?
Na tohleto místo, kde in the part we fishing, there are not just grass, even snakes somewhere. From that reason, from very first beginning, I'm using this thick strip picks 45-pounder coated. Even the hook is quite big, it's size number 4. It's strong hook, so it should hold even if it's in the snake. Už 2 ryby. We had 2 fish at the morning, both of them found a snake, so we needed to use the archer. We successfully landed both fish and all materials were solid. It was a very similar story like last year. We were taking the shots from the open water. We were also in the snake using the archer, so that was almost similar battle. This length of the hair I'm using because of better hooking the hook in the mouth, better angle. And you can hide the hook with the boilie. Also with the help of mouse snagger, it's better angle. It's very important for me because it's turning the hooks the edge down. It's turning by the edge straight in the carp mount.
Around the rest of the lake, the day was quiet and most of the fish came out through the hours of darkness. It was a bit of a case of sitting, waiting and hoping. But suddenly, we heard of a rare daytime capture. It was the Czechs again, and this fish of 18.7 kilograms put them right at the top of the leaderboard at the halfway stage. 52.2 kilograms, 3 fish, and it's for Carol Nickel, Jan Dadak and Jacob Kumster, runners-up last year, champions the year before. Peg 24, 52.21, so it's close there with 3 fish for Julian Kellart, Jonathan Roth and Michael Roth. And then the battle continues, 48.5, 41.8, and then 33.7. 3 fish for the top 5. It's getting close. Well, it's been a really exciting day out here at Lac de Madine on day 3 of the World Carp Classic, and things are really starting to hot up now. We've got a game on our hands. There are a few teams now that have caught 3 fish, and we saw a big push from 1 or 2 last night to put them right at the top of the tree. Starting at the top, well, it's the guys that won it 2 years ago at Nova Malinska and came runners-up last year. Karel Nickel, Jan Dadak and Jakob Kumster. Brilliant performance. They're up in peg 40 right at the very end of that bay. They had a good fish last night, another good one this morning, and then in the middle of the afternoon, when we thought nobody was going to catch anything at all, they go and pull it out of the bag and caught an absolute monster. That rockets them to the top of the tree. They're looking really good, but all is not yet over. 2 other teams are chasing them. On the dark side, peg 24, we've got Julian Kellett, Jonathan Roth and Michael Roth from France. They have had 3 big fish, 14.5, 18.1 and 19.5 kilos. So that puts them well and truly in the chasing pack. Then 3rd place, Belgium guys on peg 82. They are over on the island. Frederick van Rijsenum, Christian Gilbert and Laurent Mortelet. An 18, a 14 and a 13.6 gives them plenty of room to catch another big one and push for that overall leader. There are also a couple of other movers too. In peg 50, last year's winning swim, fish last night, another one today. 2 good fish puts them just hanging back off the leaderboard, but remember, this happened last year with the Germans on the island as well. Everyone's looking at the top ones. They're not looking at the guys that have caught 2 good ones and are waiting for their 3rd. 1 fish of 22 kilos for peg 50. You know what? They're at the top of the pile. And then we've got to talk about the lads from New Zealand and Australia. 23,000 kilometres they've travelled to get here. They came last year, it blew them away, the size, the ferocity, the weather conditions, but they learned. They came back this year, they're on the island, they've drawn a half-decent peg and they are fishing it incredibly well. They'll be gutted they lost their first opportunity, because since then they've caught 2 really big fish. And 1 more for them. Over 20 kilos, you know what? That puts them in one of those podium slots, and if it's a good one, they will be at the top of the tree. It's all to play for. We're not quite halfway through the competition yet. We're promised another day like today. Tomorrow, bit of cloud cover, bright skies, reasonable wind, but then the weather will change. We've got a twist coming towards the end of the World Carp Classic. It's going to get wet, it's going to get windy, and the big question is, will that turn the fishing on? Will it turn it off? Will it make the open water fish, or will it pull those fish out of the bays? Only time will tell, but what I can tell you is it is game on. Action now in peg 84, and they had a quiet night last night, but as soon as it gets dark, lo and behold, the fish start to feed, and we've arrived just at a really interesting time because they've just landed 1 fish.
We must change a new spot,
and this is the result. It's off the new spot.
No, it's the same spot from yesterday, from the first evening.
From the first fish.
But the weed is gone. I can't fish there.
Okay.
Yesterday I can't fish there.
Yeah.
There was the weed on it.
Because of
the wind blows the weed on my spot.
Yeah. But now the wind is off it, so you can fish again.
Yes, and the weed is.
Okay. Well, absolute excitement throughout the course of the night. As it got dark, it was check that we're in the lead, but you know what? We had a call last night, just a little bit too late to get out onto the island, that the guys from New Zealand in peg 76 had a good fish. We thought in the morning we'll shoot over there and see exactly what it was. But it's about to get light now. The sun is rising in the east over the small dam wall at Madine, and the call has come through again. They've got another one, but this time this is an absolute monster. It's taken the scales all the way around the dial on the first way, so we're on our way over with an even bigger set of scales to find out exactly how big this fish is. It's a dream come true for the guys from New Zealand. They battled last year through the elements, loved the event so much that they've come back again this year for another go. Their peg choice is brilliant. Their fishing tactics are magnificent. If they were in the lead last night, they're going to be even further ahead very soon. Oh my word, look at that. So the scales are just being zeroed at the moment. This is obviously really, really important. This is certainly a 25 kilo plus fish by a long way. So, Marius there, just testing the guns as he lifts that creature. You see the fish comes out, it gets put into this unhooking mat, as we call it.
Use the muscles, man.
There's the other one to go on as well. 27.2 kilos, biggest fish of the competition to date here at Madine in World Carp Classic 20, and this will put the guys even further in the lead. They took the lead last night. They've extended it now. We'll do the mathematics and the calculations in a moment, but for the time being, let's just have a look at this magnificent creature, give the guys the opportunity to lift it up and show everybody at home what a big Madine carp looks like. Absolute dream come true for the guys. They've travelled such a long way from overseas to come here.
I mean, I've travelled 57,000 kilometres, you know, to land my first Madine carp, and it was, I was just screaming like a girl on that boat when we netted out the first carp, and yeah.
The last one, definitely, we were definitely going to try and replace or substitute the smaller two for something bigger. That's the goal for the next 2 days.
We use the same strategy, all the days the same strategy, and in the
and it works.
beginning to the end, the same
so
strategy.
Believe in your strategy and stick to it. Yeah.
Throughout the course of the day, we've seen that there's been very, very few fish caught, and today there's been absolutely nothing at all. It's incredible. It looks really good. The weather's getting better. There's a little bit more breeze on the water, but we've still got this high temperature. We've got blue skies, but there is a change forecast for tomorrow. That may well have a big effect, but at the moment, I've got to say that those guys in 76, the New Zealanders, they're going to take an awful lot of catching, and tonight is going to be absolutely crucial. And this is the leaderboard, and at the top of the pile it is those guys from New Zealand with their co-opted French counterpart Thomas Thibaud. 3 fish, 69 kilos, that is an incredible weight. 58.2, 53.2, 50.8 and 48.5 make up the next 4. It's going to be a big end to the competition, and there is bound to be a drama. Just to give you an idea where these guys are, let's have a look at their pegs. First, second, third, fourth and fifth. That's where they are. Now let's see what the night holds. So this is it, 2 nights left and big fish are on the menu. It didn't take long before the first one was reported into headquarters, and my word, it was an important one. The Anglo-German pairing of Thomas Muller and Stephen Freeland had caught another monster. It was a mirror of 23.8, their biggest fish so far, and it rocketed them up into second place.
Yeah, come on baby. I think we're both trying to push it to the back of our minds basically, because we're on a bus now. It's been a roller coaster, but I wouldn't bet against us. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's looking good.
I think we have a lot of big fish in the front from us, and we catch one more. I think 22, 23, 24, 25 kilos, and we're on a lead. I hear we must catch it.
There's a bit of pressure. Yeah, there's a bit of pressure on you now, though, because the weather is due to change tomorrow. So tonight is really your best chance.
Exactly. I think we've got a small window of opportunity, but our tactics, the fish have found our baited areas and they're feeding.
Incredibly, the night proved unproductive for all of the leading teams. Some of them caught fish, but they were just not big enough to make a change in the leaderboard. The dawn was calm, but the promised storm is on its way. The wind strengthened, the waves increased in size, and the fish started to feed, but not in the areas of the current leaders. New teams joined the hunt at the front of the pack, and the final day was to prove dramatic for the anglers of the World Carp Classic. Peg 22, a team from Poland, were the first call with a 21.6 kilogram fish. Shortly afterwards, it was the French in Peg 89 on the small island. They landed a 23.6. And then the Dutch in Peg 116 on the beach with another 23 kilo fish, this time 23.4. No one at the top is yet safe. I've got the tournament founder Ross Honey with me at the moment, and Ross, I've got to say, You know, I'm always a fan of the World Carp Classic, but this year it's just fantastic, isn't it? We've had everything, and we're breaking records.
Absolutely, it's incredible. It really is the 20th anniversary of the event, Rob, and really just to see the weather conditions, which have been sunny. You know, people have been out on the beach and swimming, and now look at this. I mean, it's about as carp as you can get, and the big fish are coming out, and lots of them as well.
Well, that's 3 really big fish this morning, over 20 kilo in the space of 4 hours, and it's quite interesting because this side nothing was coming out at all, and then suddenly all those big fish have come on the end of the wind, haven't they?
Absolutely. I mean, it's been really interesting. I mean, up until now they've pretty much been in the bays, and a lot of the pegs that really haven't caught fish before have produced, and great to see that the excitement in terms of the leaderboard, and it's so unpredictable. There's some really big fish being caught from all different areas. I mean, the German team that are in second, they've dropped down, the French team moved up, and then there's a swing around there. There's big fish being caught here on the beach, the small island, and really everywhere now.
There's 12 hours left, so not a lot of time in a 112-hour event, but you know what? It's only 3 fish that matter here now. It's only those big 3, and there are plenty of people waiting to pounce for that top slot. This is going to be an amazing and incredibly tense finish, because we know already that most of the fish come out in the darkness. Normal service has resumed. Skies have cleared. Temperature is starting to drop for the night. The wind is gone. However, in some pegs, the weed is gone too. Get ready. This is going to be a bumpy ride. So let's have a quick recap on the scores and find out who is in the game. Well, obviously, in first place, Peg 76. Second, they need 1 fish of 22.1 kilos. Third and fourth, it's a very big ask for them. They need 2 very big fish. The guys in fifth place, Peg 113, 22.5 kilos for them will put them in the game. But there is a team just off the leaderboard in 7th place, Peg 89. They've got 2 fish so far for 47.8. They need 1 21.3 kilo fish that will rocket them to the top. But of course, 1 or 2 big fish for anybody around this lake could put them right at the top. Well, you need 22.1, I think, and if you
22.1.
22.1 would be enough.
It's possible. It's I mean, this lake, dreams can be made or broken. This lake is really. But I think at the moment we're really trying to concentrate on keeping second place more than first place, because there's a lot of teams behind us, and there's a lot of teams that could potentially pick up 50 kilo tonight. The island, there's 2 teams there, they could quite easily get 2 25 kilo fish.
Well, it's excitement here in Peg 50. We're out, it's the middle of the night, and a really big fish has been caught. It's just about to be dealt with now. It's been put on the scales once already. It went over 27 kilos, so we know it's a big one. The big boy scales are out. How big is it exactly? We don't know, but we'll soon find out. Is it going to be a record for the World Carp Classic? Axel Wacker caught 128.2 kilos from here a few years ago. He's held that record for a while. It's due to be broken, and tonight might well be the night.
We're still a bit speechless, so wonderful moment also to the 20th anniversary, and it's really a great feeling, amazing for us. Now, as we saw on the board, after many minutes, we recognize that it's his birth date, 29th of August, and it is 29.8. Really fantastic. We will see, the night will go on, and hopefully we got another one.
Last night, nearly there, top of the pile, being chased. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think all of us are quite nervous at this stage. We know that there's a lot of teams in with a shot at this stage, and it can go any way. We're quite confident we could still catch a big one tonight still, but with this lake and the size of fish coming out at the moment, I think it's going to go down to the last minute.
So that's it, it's the end of the road, the final chapter in what has been an incredible story out here at Lac de Madine for the World Carp Classic. We're on our way out into the middle of the lake, to the place that this event started nearly 112 hours ago. The rocket will be fired up at dawn, at sunrise, to show the event is finished. The big question now is, who is the winner? Well, what I can tell you is that the leaderboard has changed overnight. Somebody has caught a fish that does make a difference to the top 3. A fish of 16.8 kilograms to add to the 29.8 monster rocketed Jasmine Schuster and René Joker into third place. It wasn't the only change. As had been predicted, Peg 89, Frank Martel and Thomas Adonis landed their third fish at 18.6 kilos to overtake Muller and Freeland and steal second. But it looked like the first place belonged to the New Zealand team. However, there was drama yet to come. And that is it. It's over. The flare signifies the end of the competition as the sun just rises here at Lac de Madine. What an incredible event it's been. And now we make our way to the winner's peg. We'll talk about a twist in the tail. We thought it was all over. And the flare was just about to be fired. The rules of the competition are that if a fish is hooked before the end, they have 20 minutes to land it. So that's 20 minutes. And would you believe it, the call came through that the marshals watching the anglers on the lake, they said that there are 2 fish being played and one of them is to one of the teams at the top of the leaderboard. It's the guys in Peg 89. They were absolutely nowhere yesterday, and then that wind came in, they caught a couple of fish, and we did make the prediction yesterday that if they have a big one, they could well take this title. Now, what happened? Well, they caught one last night. They caught a big one as well. It put them up into second, and they've just caught another one. They're playing it at the moment. We don't know how big it is. We're not sure exactly how big it has to be at the moment because we've got to find out what the other one is as well. And I've got to say that in all of the events that I've covered over the last 20 years, this is without any shadow of a doubt one of the most exciting finishes to a competition because the event has now ended, but we don't know who's won. It could potentially be 4 different teams. Steward's inquiry, results are provisional. Wow, what a finish to this World Carp Classic. As soon as we saw the fish lifted out of the boat and carried to the unhooking mat, we realised that it wasn't going to be big enough. It would not affect the results. Peg 89 hadn't done enough. That was it. We were on our way to see the New Zealanders. This is it. We have got the new champions with us. What an absolutely amazing performance that was, gentlemen. What can we say? A fairy tale come true.
I think it means a lot for us to win, but I think for the people in New Zealand and Australia, you know, supporting us and everything we going through at the moment, trying to battle, you know, koi herpes virus. This whole thing just means so much more than just us winning for you know, for Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, it's just a big disappointment this year. You know, we got a team together that we knew we had a chance with our team, and if we stick to the plan, we had a plan from day one, and every day we just adapt to the plan and we kept it simple, and it was just amazing.
We had it, we lost it, we had it and we lost it, and then we had it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so too the presentation, and the first prize to be collected was the team award. For the second year running, it was won by Carp R Us.
Carol Nickel, Jan Leonard and Hubert Costa. You come forward. You are the team event winners of the World Carp Classic 2018.
Next came the biggest fish of the tournament, and what a fish it was.
A new World Carp Classic record, 29.8 kilos. Can really get forward. For the biggest fish. It was amazing. It was spectacular. It was, when you saw that fish, it was amazing.
As well as the biggest fish, Austrians Jasmine Schuster and René Joker took third place overall. Second went to the Franco-Belgian team of Frank Martel and Thomas Adonis. And then, of course, the very popular winners. New Zealand had done it.
Thank you. It was just was just unbelievable.
The 2018 World